How you doing, Sonya?
Nino. I mean, I've been better, but I'll be right.
Yeah,
What about yourself?
um, dealing with this like legislative shit, and then sort of on top of that, understanding people don't know how to help themselves.
No, you're absolutely correct about that.
Yeah.
People don't know how to help themselves. I understand going against the grain, Nino, but is this the time for it? Cities in shambles, you know what I mean? Like it needs it needs support. It needs people working together cohesively to
Mm.
make it better, right? And what I don't appreciate is this woman calling me up, trying to sway me against you, and then posting that shit all around after I told her explicitly, stay the sex for a bit, Siobhan. Like you
Mm.
weren't. So that's why I want her dealt with. That's why I want her gone. Because people like her are a threat. If she gets enough power behind her, enough people listening to her bullshit, she could come back strong, and I don't want that to happen.
I think that's actually a very real possibility. And I say this because I just got done talking to ADMC. I don't know
What does
what.
ADMC? Yeah, what does ADMC have to do with it?
I've realized one thing. Every different group sort of wants something else, and they kind of see it as their way is the most important way, and if it doesn't fit their vision, right, it's there's problems. Now, ADMC just happened to be the last group I talked to where the TLDR is they love Andy. And to the extent it almost seems like Sonya, your daughter's name came up during the meeting.
What does Andy and my daughter have to do with anything?
Blaine County. Okay. So I talked to Finn. He seemingly was putting all the blame on Daisy, chief of police, and indirectly on myself.
Why would they not blame Rain, the man that killed my daughter, which I shot in the head yesterday, or the day before?
Well, I sort of tried to get that out of them. Because I was trying to understand the situation, right? I only knew what you told me yesterday, but I was so cooked. The details weren't there. I remember, those offices that that one, what's her name? Fucking person I told you to talk to Croc about made the comment about Sky Faye. Yeah, the statement that she made, and so I try to get them to like elaborate because I was sort of confused why Daisy's getting the blame, and indirectly they asked me, well, you put Daisy in place, how are you going to tell me you're going to fix shit when we didn't get a phone call?
Hold on. What is this mental gymnastics? So it's your fault that Jesse's dead because you put the chief of police in there, which made Rain killed Jesse somehow? I'm trying to work this out.
I was also trying to work it out because, I was trying to be sympathetic, right? Because maybe there's something there. Maybe Daisy knew about it and she didn't do anything. Maybe, you know what I mean? And for them, it seemed like it was the biggest thing. So I tried to, tease it out of them. But ultimately, it landed on me saying, look, I'll look into it, right? Conversation further went into legislation, and they were very much against the material thing because they wanted me to put a line in the material thing that said cannot be used for anything illegal. And I'm like, well, you don't have to put that in there because if
that's
I were to do
illegal.
That, Sonya, it's like you were at the meeting. Yeah, thank you.
You can't legislate something that is already. You can't say don't be illegal when it's That's
Oh
okay.
my God.
Anyway.
Sonya, you're making my day right now. You're balancing out the migraine I had. This is what I was trying to explain.
But
And
also, why would it make any sense for a gang to not want something to be used for illegal purposes? Like, that helps all of us.
they
A
said
whole fucking ecosystem is based on criminal activity, Nino.
Well, precisely. And I said, well, right, that's just like with taxes. You could lie about your taxes. A mayor could go and do some shit, but ultimately they're taking the risk of getting investigated. They said, well, the cops don't investigate. I'm like, okay, well then, with everything that you're saying, right, I brought up, I said, okay, well then why don't you have a problem with all the legislation that's strictly for cops up in Blaine County? And they said, oh, interceptors, this and that, bring it on. It's a challenge. And I'm like, wait.
So they're backing the police legislation, but not backing the use of materials for criminal activities. What
Correct.
the fuck is that?
So
what the
I
fuck?
then said, so you're telling me you're more afraid of me than the police? And they said, yes. Now, I wouldn't doubt anyone being more afraid. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm kind of an asshole, you know? But these guys don't know what I've done, right? And even if I did do all of this, like, how are you going to say bring it on, but then also tell me, like, you know, I don't know. It's very confusing. But the conversation then moved to me mentioning, like, if you have such a problem with me and a fear for me, how do you not fear Andy Jones that's bringing all this shit up? And that's when Finn said, if I ever bring Andy's name in a negative light, he's going to kill me. So it was sort of in that moment, I realized that every misdirection that they made away from Blaine County
is them protecting Andy.
Correct.
Interesting. You know, I thought it was odd when I was on my rampage trying to find Jesse's killer that they hadn't done anything yet and that they refused to tell me who it was that killed her. It was one of their members, Rue, that ended up telling me, but they were keeping it very to the chest, and I thought that was because possibly it's because they wanted to get him before I did, right? Now hearing about it more, maybe they aren't gonna go for him at all, and maybe they're gonna misdirect the blame because they don't want to go for a BCSO guy, which is fucking insane to me.
That's what it was boggling my mind. I brought up BCSO. I said, what about the accountability? They wouldn't give me a single answer. That's why I pressed them on the Andy issue, because it didn't match the logic. The hypocrisy was crazy, and that's when I made him pop off, and I realized these are just her lackeys. And I don't know the why, but it's to an extent, if we put it into perspective, it's a sitting mayor who is operating as the commissioner of the BCSO, focusing legislation for the police department, who killed their friend. And they're willing to look past all of that because of Andy, yet everything else.
Do you know the relationship between them and Andy? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's gotta, I was hoping you did. But that's where, that's the tie-in with Siobhan, right? Now, I'm not saying there's a direct relationship there, but more pointing at when there's this much, like you said, mental gymnastics taking place, then it wouldn't surprise me if Siobhan clicks herself in and it just is going to fit
Andy.
regardless.
I know that when Siobhan had finished decorating her house, she was bragging about the fact that Andy was in there and complimenting her decorating. She was, like, proud of herself. Like, she obviously has Andy on a pedestal.
That's interesting.
You know, look, I've heard the stories of Andy Jones, okay, by all the people around here, you know, let's say the word glazing, okay? I'm not saying she hasn't done a lot. Maybe she has. I personally wasn't around when she was mayor, so I I don't know how good she was for the city or whatever. Apparently she did great, okay? But, I mean, Murphy used to be a good lawyer.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People,
I remember.
people, people have past reputations. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're good for right now, this day and age, this time. With all due respect to Andy, I hadn't seen her until she popped up for the mayorship. Now, I don't know where she was, what she was doing, but I got the impression that she didn't realize the climate that she was entering. She didn't understand how the city was working before she even ran. And I actually warned Gloria and I said, I hope she realizes what she's signing up for. This
Mm.
isn't this isn't how it was. And look, I think a lot of her backing and support is from days of the past. It's like people still talk about sanguine, sanguine, sanguine. I think it's that mentality where it's like they can't let go. They can't look forward. They can't accept change. And they blindly trust people from the past to to steer them in the right direction, and they won't accept anything new. I think that's what it is, Nino, because from what I can see, if I was Andy, the first thing I would have done is contact all the residents in Polito, got everybody together. You know how you sent people up, Mina, to go talk to everybody,
Mm.
liaise with everybody to find out what the problems were?
Yeah.
We haven't had any of that.
I believe it. You're not the only one. Hades has the same issue. Benji was told that they don't even pretend they live in Sandy Shores. I don't know what your relationship is with them, but there is that one commonality.
In Hades, I mean, I'm good with Reggie. I mean, I say hello to Benji when I see him. I don't really know Ray. I don't have any issues with them. I'd say we're neutral. And I've given them a heads up before when they've been hunted by, I think this, who were they fighting? The Saints. And they've given me heads up when people have been hunting us. The Manor was hunting us. They gave us a heads up. So it's kind of like a mutual respect there in that regard. I don't do business with them, but I might in the future, you know.
I think there's a very big common cause, and as I've been speaking to folks, they have been absolutely frustrated with how things are playing out, because it is the people that are becoming the pawns over a you know, over an ego battle. You know, it's no, and don't get me wrong, I've done some thinking. I don't want to go after any of the like legislation that may hurt people, but everything that just got posted.
What I will say, okay, the thing that I noticed with Max is that he wanted everybody to like him. Every gang, every person, the cops, and if a gang or a person didn't like his legislation,
Yeah.
he felt a little bit defeated every time. And it consumed him to the point where I guess he just stopped trying. Now, what I don't want to see happen to you, Nino, is you need to not listen to the minority and look at the majority.
Oh.
You won, okay? By a lot. The majority of people have your backing and support. There are going to be groups, there are going to be people that are going to shit talk, they're going to be loud, they're going to be annoying and obnoxious. If you focus too much on that and don't focus enough on the majority and the goals and the plan and the bigger picture, and you get stuck in the weeds with them, you'll lose yourself. And you'll come out of it bitter. You need to be above that shit. If ADMC do not align with you, fuck them. There's so many more gangs out there that do.
Sonya, you and I are cut from the same cloth. I am, that's why I pushed them. Now I know they're just a bunch of Andy puppets. It's not worth the time. And as I've started to let others know, I every crew that is for the people, for the betterment of Los Santos, they'll be getting every legislation directly, have access to making their suggestions, and I'm going to aim for block votes on everything that goes through Blaine County and Los Santos. I've already got individuals collectively pushing, challenging every one of their her legislations. They're waiting for my word. And with the goal over the next week, 2 weeks, whatever, is to start trying to get her out of the seat. And I'm thinking that perhaps Mina takes her place.
I think Mina would be a good person to take that place. Will she be able to handle the pressure on her own? Maybe not. I don't know how like fragile she is. She seems very happy all the time. It's going to be a lot, but I think with the right support and backing, she'll do okay, and we'll make sure we keep her safe. She gets put in that position where people are pressing her or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we fuck with Mina a lot. She's up here almost every day. We consider our people, so.
Yeah. And I think it'll be healthy to have someone that cares for the people.
She does. She fucking cares. Like, I can tell she really actually wants to help make change and do what's good. And she listens and she writes things down, and she's not combative. I'm not saying that being combative is bad, but she's genuinely wanting to hear people's opinions.
Yeah.
I think that's good. You know, the first thing Andy did when she won mayor is tweeted out Queen of the North. Now, I thought that was interesting because for me, where's the I feel like if you were to take that title, you should have to earn it. Now, I understand winning a bunch of votes could give you that title, technically. But I haven't seen any queen shit, man.
No. It reminds me of, you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Heard about it.
There's trying to remember. There's like a castle that's on a bridge, and they control the bridge. And there's a aging old man with his bastard children just kind of all spread about. I believe they're the Freys.
Yeah.
She reminds me of like Lord Frey.
Okay.
And surrounding her are Blaine County and like, you know, the little ones that went off to other parts of the kingdom, and like, I guess.
Who are you in this equation? If we were to put it down to the Game of Thrones reference, Nino.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I feel like you're that motherfucker that goes north, man. It gets seduced by that witch.
The guy who goes north and gets... Oh, you mean...
Burns his fucking daughter.
Oh, Baratheon? Baratheon? You mean the one with the... Baratheon, yeah, with the fire chick?
Yeah.
Are you saying that...
Listen, that motherfucker should have been on the throne.
Stannis?
Stannis got fucked over by pussy, okay? He should have been on the throne, okay?
Look, I don't...
Listen,
that would
Nino,
be Denzel.
I'm just saying, okay? Stannis would have been a fucking amazing leader, okay? But he got completely sidetracked.
You know I haven't slept with Tilly yet, right?
I don't look into your personal life.
No,
like
I know.
that.
I'm just saying I don't get distracted by pussy, you know?
Be careful with Siobhan, is what I'll say, because she's like that fucking...
I am not sleeping with her.
She is the red woman, the witch lady. That's who she is, okay? I swear to God.
I could see that. Yeah.
But yeah, be careful about her, cause she it doesn't matter what I say to her, she just fucking she's wild,
I
and
can't
she
for the
loves.
what she loves playing fucking. Does anyone know that she's doing this, or like is she hoping someone notices? Like this is actually.
No,
I will
I
tell
think
you
she.
this, that we know that Oswaldo was working with her. He's also working with Andy. Oswaldo is not working at Blaine County, believe it or not. It's a very small circle, if I'm gonna be honest, but they're very loud, and it's you asked me earlier, like, you know, don't let these voices kind of drown you out. I sort of live on this. And Sonya, this is the first time I've been out and about in the public, being very open about everything I do. And it's amazing because despite every step and everything I say, I genuinely mean, it's amazing how much more fear that's generated. It's like, it makes me think that even people know what happened between you and me, and it scares them. Like they've heard the stories and they're just waiting for it. But there is no game being played. There is no chess. I'm just driving forward on
I believe
a
that.
one-way road. But that is changing now. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of like it. I'm kind of enjoying the fact that I can think for a moment and realize that, you know what, maybe I could use some enemies.
I think in the position that you're in, it's inevitable. I think you would be a bad leader if you had no enemies.
Yeah.
I think it's use them as a point of fuck you, I'm gonna come out on top of this. That is, draw power from them. Don't let them destroy you.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually call Finn. I promised him I'd do something. Milton. What was his name? Finley Milton. There we go.
Hello?
Like I said, Finley, I'm a man of my word. Did you receive the phone call?
From Daisy Moss. Yeah, I couldn't take it right now, but I'll call her back after that. I appreciate that, though.
Yeah. All right. And as for what I said, my apologies.
Yeah. Well, you know, I will admit I do get heated pretty easily, Nino. Especially about things that I give a fuck about. I appreciate you reaching out though. That goes a long way for me. That's all I really ask for, you know. So,
of course. All right.
Yeah. You have a good day. Yeah.
Regardless,
I hope. Yeah.
Regardless of what happened there, I do work for you guys. So if you need anything, give me a call.
Appreciate that.
All
And
right.
I hope, regardless of how that ended, I hope that you see that the points that I raised come from trying to improve the city, and that's all I'm trying to. I'm just trying to make sure that the little guy doesn't get fucked over, you know.
I will never let the little guy get fucked over.
I know. I just hope the person after you has that same attitude.
Milton, I want you to. I want you to help take a look at this stuff. Every piece of legislation that affects you. And I want those recommendations.
Sure. I can catch you up after this. How about that?
Okay. You take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That was a good move. See.
Oh, he's still dead to me, just to be clear.
I know that, but I like the move that you made, because what you're doing is you're keeping it in your back pocket and you'll use it later, but you're also attempting to bring him in on it, make him feel special.
Oh.
And so the hostility is at bay for a bit, right? Like it's a smart move.
Well, I genuinely do want him to succeed, but knowing that he's a piece that cannot be moved, yeah, keeping him docile.
Yes. Look, there's going to be people that you won't be able to win over. That'll be strong loyalists to Andy forever. Like, there'll be nothing you could say or do. You know what I mean? But, you know, time will come. She'll lose power, and it won't fucking matter. So
Yeah.
right now, just keeping them docile.
Yep. Oh, fuck. Things are looking good, though. There's a lot of backing
Overall?
in the city. I think
Yeah.
so. I think there should be enough votes to get over the top, and if there isn't, we know how to handle it for next time. This new plan is going to be... I genuinely think that they have pushed us into what I kind of envision as almost like a backdoor, call it a secret society, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I envision like every fucking gang in the city literally having firsthand access to all pieces of legislation to make sure that we're protected. Because at the end of the day, right, and this includes civilians, right, I genuinely believe that the gangs are the only real protection that civilians have anymore. As sick as that sounds.
This is what I said. This is what I said when we first had that meeting a long time, well, maybe a month or two ago. Okay, I said to you that this whole thing was collapsed, right? Every establishment, every structure, every business, and the criminals, our organizations are the ones rebuilding it piece by piece. Okay, and we've got to put the right people in places to eventually have some sort of stable structure that does eventually have a justice, right? But the idea that these incompetent police and the DOJ can do that from the beginning is stupid. They don't have any power. They don't have any people. They have no means of making money. We are the money generators. We are the people that are putting people to purpose, right? So it only makes sense that it's the gangs that will rebuild the city, not these fucking idealistic people with no means of being able to do it.
It's one of the most unfortunate things. I was hoping that both police departments would have a budget, and that budget would be generated by the people, but that's no longer the case. The only way that they generate money now is from arrests. It's
That's really bad.
Yeah. Trust me, I brought it up. But I think the fear is it goes back to the accountability problem, right? How do you keep the police accountable to the people when they don't need the people? How do you keep the police accountable to the people when you got a mayor that entirely succumbs to them and is effectively their top dog? How do you stop that when, a justice is pushing back on legislation that actually gives a county that is focused on the people trying to have any semblance of, I had to tell Finn that I have no room to get the cops to do anything, like not even legislatively. I mean, the simple request of like, if you get arrested in Los Santos, you cannot be like extradited out, or whatever you want to fucking call it. And that was shot down. Now, look, what's done is done, but it sort of sets the tone. How do the people have say over their government when, in a way, the police department is its own government?
Yeah, it's almost an enemy of the state because if it's not paid for by the government, right, then it's like a foreign entity.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least see some structure changes have happened within the PD.
Major, thank you for the 10 months.
Who you put there?
Daisy is very brilliant. I think she's likely to get a lot of negativity put away due to her not knowing who's who, right? But I think
that'll go away with time.
Precisely. Yeah. And I
Well,
think she's been very resolute. She's dealt with a lot of bullshit, and she's kept the head up and moved forward. So,
like I said, man, like putting the right person at the top of the food chain or whatever, they'll end up. Something needed to change, Nino. Something needed to change, and regardless if anybody liked it or was
mm,
comfortable with it, that it wasn't one of their own people, and you put somebody there that needed to be there, they'll get over it,
yeah.
and better changes will come from it. It was
Uh,
good.
yeah.
But yeah, Sky Faye, I fuck that bitch.
You know, it's
Listen, maybe she's a good cop, maybe she's a good patrol cop or something, but she's no negotiator. She's no leader. She's no, you know, there's cops that I don't know. There's cops that know how to talk to us, and there's cops that don't, and she does not. She is one of those people that puts that badge on, and that's her entire fucking life, and she has no grasp of anything outside of that.
I think you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you just described like the majority of Blaine County at this stage. Blaine County has become the place where officers seek refuge from any kind of accountability, it's sad. Now she stayed with LSPD as far as I'm aware, but that mentality runs deep. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, looking at the depressive state of Cassidy, just watching people play around with his fucking toll booth was a sight to be seen. Right? I
What
can't.
happened there? I'm not aware of anything to do with the toll booth.
They have 2 toll booths over at Sandy, right? Whatever. And I was with Peters after I was shot at by Eugene and the Blaine like fucking fuck squad or whatever you want to call it. And reading through legislation, we pull up there and the besties are like playing border patrol. Like, could they have been doing something illegal? Like possibly, right? Like a legal search, but it was really just fuckery. Like it was very obvious. And you know, we're fucking around with them a little bit, just saying change of words, whatever. And Cassidy just absolutely appeared to be absolutely depressed over the situation. Like, just he didn't want anything to do with it. It was like someone was playing with his toy. It was like, no, you're not supposed to use it that way, you know, kind of thing. We drive away. We come back like, I don't know, like 15 minutes later because he's called for backup. And we pull up and the guy just fucking crashes out.
Who is Cassidy?
Under sheriff.
Okay, so you're saying that Andy Jones is up there doing legislation, hanging out with Blaine County.
Yeah.
All day. That's what she does. Then the piece of legislation that she puts in, which is the toll booth, you're having officers crash out over it.
Yes.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. It's just you look at the company, right?
Yeah.
Look at the circle.
Yeah. You're not wrong. This guy started fucking screaming at me and Peters came up to help. And we're just so confused why he's mad. He had so much to say to me. I don't know this guy, but he knew so much about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine some random person coming up and saying all the things about who is Sonya Summers and all these kind of things. And you're just like, who is this guy?
It right? Happens all the time. Believe it or not, man. People know me, and I don't fucking know them. And apparently they know my whole fucking life story.
It's for Jesus fucking Christ.
It's, hey, at the end of the day, Nino, it means you put in work, okay? Yeah. Let these fuckers hate you. Let them hate you.
Oh, I live for that. I fucking live for that. Turns out Nakota was the one that collected a lot of the signatures, by the way. Just learned that earlier. He's Eve's soon to be boyfriend or something like that. Okay. Son of Vivian Gray.
I'm happy for Eve. Honestly, I like Eve a lot, and you know, she had she had that incident with her ex-husband or whatever, and I know
What
that the
happened with
girl.
that?
I'm not entirely sure. I just knew that she was in the ICU after they got divorced or something.
Mm.
I don't think he hurt her. I don't think that's what it was. I don't know, man. But I felt for her, you know, because I think she really struggled with that, and I'm happy to hear that she's got somebody else, and you know, I think she would also be a very good pick for putting somebody in the north. To be honest,
Absolutely not.
why not? What?
This is gonna be biased, right? But she's my niece.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was at a wedding. Brought her into Los Santos Customs. Ultimately lost it from Max because Eve and Juno, her like sister-in-law, some beef. I don't know the details.
Yeah.
Whatever, not my problem. She was amazing. But I don't know what changed when I came back and brought her in the office. Gave her the COC, let her do a thing. But I think perhaps the mistake I made was when I had Vivian in mind for chief of police. Very similar to Vivian. She only heard, "You're the chief I want," and then disregarded the additional expectations. Having a plan of a new LSPD. The moment I started to have questions about Vivian, she got really upset with me. I actually invited her and Tilly specifically and left the other crew out because I trusted them to give me their honest feedback as to whether Peters or some of the other names were a potential fit for like assistant chief or flipping the two. Now, unfortunately, what she did was only question why I changed my mind and was not interested in my concerns, which is fine, right? That's why I wanted to hear that. But would not respond to any of my concerns. It was like sort of met with silence. And what then transpired was of the people that, who was it, Peters, I believe it was, came up to get questions answered with Tilly and Eve. She remained silent through the entire like 40-minute interview.
So you're not on good terms with Eve right now?
I don't even know. She literally, she was there when we picked Daisy. You know, next thing you know, she just kind of disappeared, and now I know she's up north, up in Andy's team.
Wait, she's with Andy?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Andy, Nakota, yep. The worst thing about it, too, is Eve inferred that I do not listen to her opinion. But it is the attitude of, unfortunately, the same toddler behavior. It's like, if you do not agree with what I am saying, you are not listening. As opposed to the concept of, like, you've got your opinion, I've got mine. Let's talk through it and find wherever that middle ground is.
Yeah, similar to the way I operate or whatever, as I have counsel, and then I'll hear their opinions. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go with that opinion. It just means that it's more to add to my entire picture, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, just because I don't do exactly what my counsel tells me to do, or wants me to do, it doesn't mean I'm not listening. It means I am listening and I'm taking it into account. And I might not do it as hard or as fast or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like similar situation happened with DeMarco, all right? I could have gotten DeMarco by killing Beatrice, right? Or kidnapping Beatrice. But I was advised not to go for Beatrice. She was an innocent party. So I listened to that advice and I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like things I will listen to and there's things that I won't listen to.
Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what leaders are for. You have to make the final say. You take into account the opinions, but that does not mean that anyone is ever owed following their directions. Because
Yeah, exactly.
accountability, the buck stops on the leader, nobody else.
What I will say, Nino, is if you don't want that to happen in the future, any counsel or advice that you receive, I would take that advice, interpret it back to them, like say it back to them, and then explain why you either will or will not use that advice, so that they are under no assumption once you leave that meeting that you are going to 100% go with what they said. It's a way for them to hear that you knew what they said, but also that you are going to go a different way and they're not going to be shocked by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to lean on that, but I've never heard that level of silence before. I
If she wasn't communicating, then that's not your problem, to be honest. That's a fault of hers. I'm sure that if she'd came to you and expressed exactly what she thought, you guys could have talked it out.
Mm.
But if she remained silent, then that is ultimately on her. It's unfortunate, obviously, given your relationship, but
I don't think it's tarnished it. I'm not going to look at her any other way, but right now it's sort of like more of a two different sides of the political sphere.
Yeah.
Which just, I don't know what the fuck happened to her. I just, with cops, that's the thing that Sonya, you know me and cops, right?
Yeah.
I was already kind of
a
little like eyebrow like fucking raised on you dating a fucking police officer.
Yep. It's not good, because then it creates that soft spot for all PD.
Yep.
It's essentially like having a gang member that's your daughter or your niece or your nephew, and then you kind of, if that somebody else in that gang fucks with you, you feel awkward going for that gang because your relation is in that gang. It's kind of like dating a cop, right? If a cop fucks with you, now she has to back all police. It's that, you know what I'm saying?
I want to drug Andy Jones and get her addicted to fentanyl.
What the fuck? That's twisted, man.
Is it?
It's good.
And then I want the Nocaine down in the city.
I have a question for you. Once Andy is out of office and Mina is either up here or whoever else that's going to be in the north or whatever, will I have your word, I guess, or can you assure me that you will not see it as an us first thing? You will see it as this place is fucked.
Guaranteed.
Up here is it is so fucked. We need more help than the city. Okay, so
you have my word, Sonya. The us versus them started from the moment I had a very pompous, entitled Andy Jones, Declan Crane, and Bones barge into my office demanding interceptors and then throw a fit. When simply asked, write down what you're asking so I can look at it tomorrow and there's no confusion. When they started to bleed money out of Los Santos County and got offended when I was like, can't afford this right now. Like, why are you guys all down here all day? Right? Like, let's talk about it. They were offended the topic came up. Offended when PETA is asked, why is Blaine County just pulling out the LSPD shared vehicles, blowing them up and leaving them? That is when it became the PD, which is what Blaine County is, with the us being all the citizens of Los Santos. But I can promise you this, Sonya, that you put the right person gets in place. We want to
nurture it.
I want it nurtured. I want there to be a natural difference. My thoughts originally was, hey, maybe moonshine is legal in one place, maybe not another. It was just the dreams of like people flourishing in whichever avenue they wanted to go in. But instead, it's just a fucking draconian mess of like fucking teenage angst. Like it's like every time I talk to these guys, it's like they only know how to like say words out of lines of like My Chemical Romance. You know what I mean? There's no fucking adult conversation or behavior.
I think what's happened, Nino, is it's similar to what's happening in our group right now, okay? Well, it's not similar because it hasn't happened, but I can see it happening, right? We have C4, and then we have like a subgroup called The List, right? Brandon, Uncle T, they're making of all the Italians, but they're still under the umbrella of C4, so they still have access to everything. They still, you know, are able to use everything that we have. There will be a time where they will need to break away and have their own shit, but we're nurturing them. We're helping them build to the point where they can be independent like that, right? Now, what I think's happened here, okay, is the BCSO's broken away from the city, created their own thing, and they still felt as though they should be on the teat of the city because they weren't ready to be independent yet. And I think it was too soon for them, and they probably felt as though, oh fuck, what do we do now? We're out here by ourselves in the cold and we don't have access to all the shit that we did before. They need a solid leader and solid people in the north to be able to build something for themselves and be self-sustaining. Right now they're angry at the city because they saw the city as their mother. Does that make sense? You have essentially kicked them out of the nest, and they're not comfortable with that. So
Yeah.
I suggest the next person that's in there, you bring them back into the nest at least a little bit, okay? Let them get to a point where they feel as though they are empowered, and they feel as though they can run the north and they can help the north, and they don't even look at what you do in the city. They don't care what you do in the city because they're self-sufficient. It doesn't affect them. You know what I'm saying? They just weren't ready for it, man. They didn't have the leadership, they didn't have the people, they probably didn't have the resources. They weren't ready for that split, and they did it too soon.
I agree. The only thing is, it's BCSO that's got all the resources. They pulled every bit of veteran officers out of LSPD, even before the split happened. You know, I talked to Cornwood, and his story is a fucking tragedy. Blaine County Sheriff's Office was a dream of his. He was fighting for it from the very beginning. I remember what he used to tell me down at LSC.
Yeah, I could see that. He looks like he was made for sheriff. You know what I mean?
His entire purpose was so that Blaine County would have officers be able to patrol and have presence in the north. A small little office.
Yeah.
And instead, Sheriff Bones paid for votes. He got assistance from the same circle. He won the election. And instead of becoming the small little station, it became just whatever the fuck it is now. More offices than there is crime up here, yet they don't spend any time up here. It has just become another suit.
You know what's crazy, Nino? I was expecting when the BCSO became a thing that I would see, it'd be like normal cops that I would see around every day up here. That I'd, you know, it'd be the bit of cat and mouse where it's like, you know, that's the local cop that drives through here and he like just lives down the road, you know? Like, that's what I expected. But no, these motherfuckers don't come up here at all. And if they do, they come up in, we had a situation where Declan Crane, one of our members was selling weed. She tried to run. He gunned her down as she was driving away on a bike.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, he gunned her for selling weed?
So she had, you know how she punched the air, not at his direction. She punched the air, and I guess that made him believe that she was a threat. And then as she jumped on her bike to drive away, he gunned her in the back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then they tried to absolutely fuck her with charges, like everything you can think of.
But
destroy her life.
What the fuck?
And that's crazy to me because this is for me, okay, yeah, they're the enemy, 100%. But for me, if I was them, I wouldn't want to make enemies out of the people that are up here. I'd want to, I mean, sure, you're going to arrest people, sure. But to do it in that kind of way, excessive, and trying to make enemies, it's kind of disrespectful, to be honest. Like, if you've got cops in the south side and they like live in the south side, whatever, and they're gonna have to arrest people every now and then, sure, whatever. But if you've got cops that are down there actually trying to fucking, you know, just gun down fucking gangsters and like, I don't know, it's creating that division. You know what I'm saying? It's creating that hatred. I've actually been super fucking good with all the cops up here, man. Like, I let them be. I let them be in peace. There's cops that live in houses. If they drive to and from work, whatever, I say hello. I sell them food, you know? But that's the kind of community that I wanted up here. I know that when they put their badge on, they're going to have to do what they have to do. But aside from that, I saw them as people of Polito. But then when Declan Crane comes up here and literally guns my fucking people down trying to get away, to me, it changes a little bit. At that point, I want to kidnap and murder that motherfucker.
It's just, you know, it's just so... I mean, look, at the end of the day, anyone outside of the police department considered cattle by them. They treat them... They consider them as cattle. They catch the cattle, they fucking sell it to Bolingbroke.
Yeah, well, that's how they make their money, right? Through fining people. So, of course, that's their only incentive is to catch people, give them as much fines as they can, get a guilty plea, and send them away. That's it.
Yeah. It's just
fucking bad.
And then you wonder why they get fucking gunned down. Or why people want to, you know.
You know, honestly, I don't even think I think we should decommission the police. I think that you should hire gangs for different territories.
Yeah.
And they should patrol. They should keep things in check. I think they'd do a better job. And people would be happier. I think the police are fucking useless.
You're not wrong. Like, even when
honestly,
it comes
you
to...
imagine having the Saints allocated to patrol Forum, and you have Hydra allocated to patrol Mirror Park, and you have C4 allocated to patrol Polito. We would make sure that the city would be as it should be.
Yeah, genuinely, I actually don't disagree with you.
We look after we actually look after our communities, man. We do.
Yeah.
Way more than these cops do. Maybe they just get sent to the highways. They can do speeding tickets and shit like that. But like, for the actual communities, man, they bring nothing but problems.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. God damn it. The more we talk, the more I realize, like, Sonny, the amount of people that have been coming to me and are just so torn, right? About everything that's happening. Even when we talk about things like I genuinely believe that we can go after Blaine County for dereliction of duty. But then I realize who is left that even has the energy to bring it to court, not necessarily to get a conviction, but to even send a message. Right?
Are you able to build your own? Okay, this is another idea. You get Cornwood, right? You put them in Polito. You start your own police department.
You can't. You have the marshals fucking kicking the doors in. I'm telling you right now, the more I have learned about what has happened, I have come to realize that Angel is just
So the marshals are owned by the state, right? Or the feds. Who runs the marshals?
Angel.
Do you have no
also the
control
main
over
judge.
that? Isn't that a conflict?
I had this presented to me originally, and I put it aside. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna put my trust in it. But she is Angel is nothing more than a hyper-focused, egotistical, power-hungry lunatic. I say this because every single chat I've had with her has been in good faith. And I realized with the way that she changed the legislation on the behest of Ursula, made me immediately realize that this is not good.
So, what sort of fail-safes are there for Angel? Is she able to get? It's not like an impeachment type process. I guess it's firing. Who would fire her?
The
Who would even be able to...
definition of who can take the role needs to have all of the qualifications that I imagine she wrote out, as it references only characteristics that she would have.
So she's a dictator with a police force behind, like a martial group.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of bias that's been shown.
Who does she answer to?
I literally have no idea. It's not even something I considered because I had not even contemplated the notion of like there being corruption or whatever. You know, like I said, good faith. I didn't like the fact that Pride was dismissed based on rumors. But then that really annoyed me because Pride, yeah, gang member, whatever, was literally the face of the Marshals. There was a Marshal-related thing, he was there. There was something, he was there. His presence, whatever, right? He may have had some blemishes, but the moment... Now, this is based on if it's true, is he was apparently just removed over rumors. And, you know, with the way that my office was sort of desecrated by just, like, we've been playing ball, right? We haven't gotten any negative feedback, right? But sort of out of the blue to have legislation change.
You need more power, Nino. Honestly, who pays for the marshals? Who pays their pockets?
Everyone in the city.
Okay, so they
have an unlimited fund.
Unlimited fund. So it's not taxpayers.
They got tanks. Sonya.
Wait, where is this money coming from? Like
all of us. It came out of the state budget. There's $175 million in it.
Then they're your employees. You could argue that in court.
You can't, because she is the court.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I find it so egregious that I wanna paint this picture, right? We posted all this legislation over the weekend, ready to fucking get ready to start cooking up the city, right? Stop making things happen. Make people's dreams come through. And some of it get kicked back. Understandable. It is what it is, right? All right, bet. And then I call her. I ask for like, okay, what's going on with this? Whatever. She tells me that she is going to let one of these pass and then like challenge it in court. And I mean, the first thought I had was like, if you have problems with it, why aren't you telling me what the problems are? Why is this going through court?
It. What? Yeah.
Like, let's discuss it. Like, what do you mean?
Because she has. Okay, if she was a tennis player, that'd be on the fucking tennis court. If she takes anything to court, that is her arena. She's bringing you to her house.
But
to have
why?
That power.
It seems so like, isn't it strange?
It's not strange. It's smart on her behalf because she has that power in the courtroom. She's essentially bringing something she disagrees with to her arena, rather than just face you face to face and you just saying no. And
it sounds to me like she's got this weird fetish to like flex on me or something.
Yeah,
because here's the thing, like I'm not gonna give a fuck, right? And so, for me, it's more of like a, you know, like a why wouldn't you just tell me what you disagree with and let's maybe change it? Like the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, Like, I don't know.
Some crazy shit.
It's very like inefficient. It's very like But anyways, you know, she told me that, right? But I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but like, whatever. And it's the fact that knowing she was gonna go do it, and someone says I'm gonna go appeal it, and she goes and changes the law. This is inherently corrupt. I don't give a fuck what document says what. Like, it's irrelevant, right? Like, just because the law says, you know, you can fucking put a bullet in someone's head, right?
She's writing the law, so you know what I mean? Like, they're overseeing the law. Like, they have ultimate power, essentially.
Well, like I said, at that stage, what is the law if it's malleable? At any second. That's not law.
Okay, well, here's the thing. It can the thing is, when you bring something to court, right? You can have a law written that seems a little wishy-washy, and it can go through court, and then you can figure out exactly the details, and then you have case law, right? You have case law that comes from that shit. So I understand exactly what she's trying to do, but at the same time, I understand exactly your contention with why the fuck would she not just talk to me? Because you can literally change it. You don't need case law. You don't need to set a precedent. You can literally just have a conversation and figure it out before it needs to get to that point. It's like, okay, if you get arrested with a money order or something like that, you know, did you hear about the case where there was a money order and then the definition of what is illegal, what isn't illegal, rolled bills, you know, it gets ironed out in court, the exact details, and then, you know, people can reference that to prove their case in court.
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to do. But like I said, it's stupid because you could literally have a hour-long meeting about it and figure it out before
I don't think these people
point.
know how to talk. If they did, I don't think they want actual confrontation. I mean, I look back once again to this interceptor conversation, and the only thing that they concluded was Nino doesn't want interceptors. They could not understand the concept of I am looking to deal with other bigger problems that I see in Los Santos. Please write it down so I can review it when I can focus on it. And their excuse was, why would we write the legislation now? And I'm like, no, just bullet points. Like, what do you want me to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh man, I wonder what they talked about? Like, I genuinely, Sonya, I don't think going back to what you said before, right? You know, how this is it. Like, the badge is everything to them. That's their life. Or they get so much to the point that these guys literally do not understand the concept of, like, here's what I want to do. Here's like a note, right? Like, they don't understand the principle of it. That the most basic level of, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not working. These are not people. These are not normal humans.
Here's what I suggest then. Okay, you make working hours, and they have to be actual residents of the city in between working hours. They can only work for a maximum period of time, and then outside of that, they're forced to go off duty and actually live a normal life, because that's the only way they're going to grasp how the city actually is and the actual priorities that need. Because if they're worried about interceptors when we have a fucking, you know, a food crisis happening, or we have like businesses and shit that are trying to be built and there's not enough materials, and they need to experience that. It's their naivety it's making them think that the interceptors are the biggest problem in the fucking world, because they don't actually understand. They have food brought to them, okay? Probably for free. They don't have to worry about materials. They don't have to worry about any of that shit. They don't live like we live, you know? They're disconnected from it. They need to go live as we live so that they see the full picture, man.
You're spitting truths on you. But the scary thing is, I don't see that ever happening. You know, I talked to Hazel Havgreaves, right? And this is how cooked it is. You know how much time I work with this guy, making sure, like, this guy's on the same fucking cuckoo train. Every single one of these individuals lives on waiting for the next bit of tea to hate their life over.
I hate people like that, man.
There's too many. That's all they are now.
They're everybody. I feel like
they have no principles.
People, all they do is fucking doom. They never see. They'll bring down any idea or any people that are happy around them just to fulfill their own sick fucking twisted delusion. It's honestly, Nino, don't even waste your fucking energy. They're just sinks of black holes of people, and there's so many out there. And it's really fucking sad. I'll be honest, it's sad, but they do nothing for you. They just drain you. You're better off to just stick with the people that are optimistic, stick to the people that are happy, and go about your fucking day and ignore their existence. Mina's a great example of this, or maybe Tilly. I don't know. I don't know what Tilly's like, but if you got people that
she just bitches in my ear all day.
Okay, well that's probably not good. But is it a good kind of bitching? Like
you see this
pumps
bandage?
You up? Yeah.
Yeah, that was her.
She bites your ear off like Tyson?
No, she just fucking bitches in it. I started bleeding at one point.
But like, there's a difference between like just dooming and then but arguing but like supporting at the same time. You can have people that have ideas and opinions and might say it in a way that sounds argumentative and negative, but ultimately they're helping, right? And then you got people that are just like, what's the point of any of this? Why are we here? It's all going to burn down anyway. Fuck those people. They're the worst.
You're really hitting. You're spitting exactly what I was saying 6 hours ago. Like it really is. It's like a fucking. It's like a fucking like depression sinkhole, and they want to drag you down in it.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I hate it so much.
If you hang around with them, if you're around them too much, man, you start to feel that too. You got to get away from it.
Yeah.
It's like it's contagious. I think depression is contagious. Stay away from them.
Is this what Zoomers are doing now? Is this like back in the day when I was younger, right? People used to take like bottles of NyQuil and get high on it. Another thing that they used to do is they used to choke themselves so they pass out because it gave them a rush. Do you know about that? I
mean, I've heard of people do that while they're masturbating, Nino.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Didn't the guy from AC/DC? Oh no, wait, who was it? In Excess fucking die from doing that shit? I don't know.
Oh my god, it wouldn't surprise me. I know it was like a big thing.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder if this is like the new thing is like, I feel alive by dooming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're masochists. They're emotional masochists, okay? Look, they're a sadist, and there's two types of people in this world. There's the sadist people and there's the masochists, okay? I'm a fucking sadist. Fuck these masochist pieces of shit that all they want to do is fucking feel pain all the time. And they pretend like they don't like it. They're like, oh, I'm so miserable. But they choose to be there, Nino. They fucking choose to fucking be there. And they love it when people treat them like shit. They fucking do. Because then they got something to whinge about. Don't let these fucking people get to you.
Oh.
Trust me. See them for what they are. They're sad. You're a fucking sadist, just like me, man. All right.
What the fuck is a sadist? Like one of the few words I don't know.
I'm not. Ask Tilly.
Well, now I gotta look it up because Tilly, there's no shot Tilly's gonna know.
Okay, look. It doesn't have to be about sexual gratification, okay? But like, it's more so about you enjoy inflicting pain upon others. But listen,
come on! I have changed. I do not enjoy that. I see it as a necessary.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know,
I'm with you on that.
It's a necessary tool to ensure compliance and safety for the whole.
I agree, and I used to be on the mentality that it was fun and that I enjoyed fucking shooting people in the head, throwing them in my
maybe I
trunk.
do.
Like, I
like when I get fucking Andy addicted to fentanyl. Oh my god.
yeah, like that's
could you
some
imagine that?
shit, man.
Oh,
You know, the funniest thing that
feel so good. Oh.
you know, the fucked up thing that most fucked up thing that I think I ever laughed at, man, was I had a lawyer and he was a real beta fucking bitch, man. I was trying to toughen him up. So I got him to kidnap a guy in a wheelchair, throw him in the trunk, and beat him with a baseball bat. He was crying while he was beating with a baseball bat, man. It was fucking amazing.
Jesus.
You would have loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wolves and sheep, Nino, okay? Be the wolf, don't listen to the sheep, alright? Fuck these guys, fuck these masochists, fuck these doomers. Fuck all the negativity, man. Keep doing your thing. Don't let them bring you down.
Oh, no.
Alright?
I think they've done the opposite, Sonya. They've given me more purpose.
Good. It feels so much nicer when you slap them around.
I mean, the beauty of everything, right, is my job is I have realized that I actually don't even need to be the mayor of Los Santos. Why? What do I get out of this? Would I get to move some sliders around?
It's not that you need to be the mayor, it's that the city needs you to be the mayor. And you are like me, and you care about this city just like I do. Okay? And you're using your expertise and your experience and your power to do something good for a change. Okay? We've both done bad in the past. You're doing something good and it needs to be done. All right? It's your purpose. That is why you're the mayor. It's not because you want to be or why it benefits you. It doesn't. It probably brings you down. But at the same time, you're fulfilling a bigger thing. Okay, Nino? That's why you're there.
What I'm trying to say, Sonya, and you're not wrong, is that even if tomorrow I step down, the only thing that changes is I don't post the legislation.
Yeah, I know. You have somebody else do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pull the strings. I get that.
And the reason I point that out is I could lose my mayorship tomorrow. I could. They could come after it. I hold nothing dear. You can take it away. Take my money. Take my car. But you're not going to take away my mind. Let all the mouth that yaps.
And this is why I see Siobhan as a threat. Because she has that exact mentality. She may not have the power. She used Max as a mouthpiece, okay? I know that seems hard to believe because Max is Max. But I swear to God, she was pulling those strings, Nino, the entire fucking time. She was writing all that legislation. He was the mouthpiece. And now that she does not have power, she is now trying to she's trying to pull strings from where she's at so she can regain power again. And this will not stop until she gets some sort of power. So be careful. Be wary of her.
I didn't even know she still was around. I'm going to keep it honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's not stupid, man. She will be in the fucking in the darkness and the shadows. She will be fucking plodding away. Just exactly how you described, pulling strings from the. That's why she tried to pull my string last night and told her to. I ain't her. I never will be, and she is gonna have to. But she's gonna try with lots of other people, man.
I have a strong feeling she's gonna find a way into Andy's circle.
100%.
And I think that, if anything, that kind of helps the long-term vision here. Sonny, I gotta get going, but
all right. Good talk.
I'm hoping I have something this week. Call it a political party.
Just promise me again, okay? Just promise me again. Once Andy's out, nurture the shithole, please.
I will. I promise.
With the right person there, because it could use some love, man. We've got some good things happening, good people up here, man.
Oh, I've seen it. I've absolutely seen it.
Yeah.
I think if I had my choice,
I mean, I wanted you up here. I knew that your purpose was in the city, but you know when I picked you up from the airport, man, that I wanted you up here, okay?
you're the reason I'm here, Sonya. I think if it wasn't for that conversation, I would have probably taken a trip out a long time ago.
I'm glad you stuck around, man, and you didn't get disheartened by the shitstorm, you know? Still a long way to go, okay?
Yep. Long way. All right. Stay safe.